We had a nice long weekend to kind of wrap up the summer before school starts at Hamilton Branch State Park at Lake Strom-Thurmond, just north of Augusta, officially in Plum Branch, although the town of Modoc is closer.
Yeah, everything when it pops up on your systems, it says Modoc.
Yeah, it's a beautiful lake, big campground, lots of sites, but the way it's built is really unique.
It's the most sites with the most remote actual
Spaces.
separate sites that
it's very different. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the lake, talk about the campground. I hope you tune in to see the whole thing because we've enjoyed our time here and we can't wait to share it with you. We had an opportunity for our last
hurrah before school starts
to get away to Hamilton Branch State Park. We booked this site last summer, last fall.
Yeah, into summer, probably about this time last year.
Yeah, we've been
looking forward to this one.
We've been looking forward to it. A lot of people talk really good things about Hamilton Branch. It's on Lake Strom-Thurmond. If you're from South Carolina, if you're from Georgia, it's Lake Clark's Hill. It is a 71,000 acre lake. It is huge. I think I saw it was built in the 50s or 60s. I think I saw last night. It was the first of the Savannah River dams and lakes to be built. Above it is Lake Russell, and above it is Lake Hartwell. So this one was built first. Lake Hartwell was built second, and Lake Russell was the newest one. The campground is a bit older. I want to say it was probably in the 60s or 70s that it was built.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of information about it here. We kind of had to do some research on the internet to even get that much.
But it is built really neatly. They've taken great advantage of all the little coves and inlets that are on the lake, and the little peninsulas and little, I think ours is called a hybrid peninsula. There are over 150 sites according to their information, but like our little area, there's probably 20 sites, and then there's another little road with 25 sites, and another road with 60 sites.
I think there was 9 different what they call campgrounds, A through I.
A through I, yes. So it's a ton of different areas, and you could totally be here the whole time and only be on your one little cove and never really see, a different section. And I think it's cool the way it's set up, because if you are one of those people who are able to travel with a bunch of different family members, I know we've seen different campsites where it's like, oh, well, that's my cousin and that's my uncle. You could end up with one of these little circles. I mean, there's 5 sites in our little circle. And we haven't seen anybody that's up the path. So you could have your own little inlet to yourself. And
yeah, it's even though there's somewhere between 150 and 200 sites here,
it doesn't feel like that.
It feels like a campground of 25 because there's just these few folks right here.
And the kids have been able to play on this circle and up our road without feeling like there's 150 cars coming through, because the main drag, everything splits off of it like spokes.
Right.
And they've just taken really good advantage of every area. Like if there's land that isn't on the lake, it is not a campsite. And the campsites that are on the lake, all of them are relatively large in size. This is another one of those that you're going to have people that are going to have their campers, they're going to have their boats, they're going to have their golf carts, they're going to have trailers. There's lots of stuff going on, and there's plenty of room for it. As we're sitting here, we're looking at our site over here, and there's across the way, it's a big fifth wheel, there's a big truck, there's a big SUV, they've got a huge tent, they've got a pontoon boat pulled up to their site, they got a little beachy area. I
was at a site earlier today looking at different sites, and there was not only the camper, I counted 6 cars there, and there was still plenty of space. These sites are huge. Now, one thing about the sites here that I have to kind of give a little bit of a caveat to, the predominant site structure here is in pairs. So a lot of these sites, when you get to them, you're going to have a buddy, and they kind of form a T. And so on one side, you're facing with your awning out toward the lake, looking out on the other side of the tee, you're backwards.
And some people have been able to, like we drove around a lot and we saw where people had finagled around, and it looks like over the years so many times that those sites are backwards that people have almost created little pathways where they pull their truck in, the tow vehicle goes straight forward. So some of them you can get away with it, but we also saw a lot of people who were just in there backwards. They had their awning out, they're facing the road, and all their stuff's toward the lake. So it's just a matter of, like we said, the spaces are large. You can kind of pull it off, but even our site, the electrical is in the right spot for us to face, but our water is in the wrong spot.
I'll actually, we'll take a moment here. I'll do my quick walk around and we'll be back with you in just a second. All right, we're gonna do a quick walk around of site 45 here at Hamilton Branch. We're in H Campground. It's a peninsula at the end. You kind of see the neighbors, but there's a lot of great privacy here. Nice little community space in the front. Come back around to the side here. We have 30 amp and 50 amp on this side of the camper. Plenty of space. As you can tell, there's the neighbors. Nice separation. Come through on this side. Lots and lots of space. Plenty of room to stretch out. But notice the water. The water is over here on this side. So we've got the hose run all the way across. One of the odd things about Hamilton Branch sometimes is placement of your utilities, but that water access, that's what it's all about. Come back here, see, nice privacy back here. Now there's poison ivy in there, but don't go walking. But you got that beach. Walk down here real quick so you can see a little bit better the access, what it looks like. It's a little bit of a step, but then kind of a little beach rock right there. Lake Strom Thurmond. I also did a quick walk around of site 39. Now that's not one of the T sites. It was a pull through. It happened to be empty last night, so I'll do a quick walk around. There are quite a few like this, so maybe this is what you'll see. All right, I'm gonna do a walk around of site 39, which is just down from us at 45 here at Hamilton Branch. While this is not a typical site here, there are quite a few pull throughs that are pretty similar. It's got 50 amp and 30 amp water where it should be. You've got timbers with a level area, a picnic table, and then you got this flat space that goes right down to the water. It's the first weekend in August and this thing's sitting empty. I'm really surprised. The only thing, it's a little short. So if you got a big fifth wheel, it might be a little tight to get in here. I don't know what the website rates it at, but you probably fit a 36 foot in here without too much problem. It's a shame it's being unused. All in all, I think the sites are, you can get past that weirdness.
Yeah, because they're so big. You can kind of finagle, and even some of the smaller campers, it literally like somebody just like pushed them.
Yeah, there was a pop-up.
It was like, there's no way they could have pulled that in that. And it was like, I think they just kind of rolled it in there.
There was a pop-up we saw yesterday that they had to have just kind of pushed it and rolled it. There's no way. There's no way that car could have got it.
So, if you got a small, if you have a smaller site, or we saw somebody with like an ambulance, we've seen people with some kind of unique things. So they're perfect for that. There would be no problems. If you have a bigger camper or a bigger fifth wheel, just be careful when you're looking. And if you're looking at those T's, those ones kind of to the left of a T, they might be backwards. There might be some finagling. Yeah. Maybe bring an extra long water hose, bring extra cords, so that if you do get in there and get turned, and you want to be turned the right way, you've got some extra.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest making sure you have plenty of hose and power cords here, because It's an older campsite. These were probably put in before a lot of what we know today as modern campers.
It's probably a lot more set up for tent style camping.
And there are. I've been
older
surprised
campers.
at the number of tent sites that are kind of intermingled with.
Yeah, generally you see camper people, tent people, but this one's like camper, tent.
Yeah.
Because even on the map, it had like the number, which is what we're used to seeing, but then it had a little picture of a camper, and then the number and a camper, and I was like, that's odd. But then like 6 sites in, it'd be a tent.
Yeah.
Number camper, tent. And it was like, oh, okay.
So that's that's
the
why.
one we looked at yesterday, we kind of drove down into one yesterday that ended up being a tent site, but
Yep.
it was amazing. So if you're tent people,
it was one of those tees, and I saw it was empty, so I went to go see if I could film it, and I got there. So it's one of these tees, but it's all tent. There's no electrical. It's only water. So that was kind of a
but it was a gorgeous, like right on the water.
Right down
point.
the water. And that's probably the best thing about the sites here. Take away the odd layouts. I think every one of them is on the water.
Yes. Looking at the map, they are all on the water. We haven't driven by any. I mean, you can drive through and you'll be in a part of the campsite that isn't on the water, and there aren't sites. There aren't picnic shelters. There aren't grills. They're on the site. I mean, they're on the water.
Yeah. Talking to some folks that regular the park. We're here and the lake is almost at full pool. They said that oftentimes during the summer, if it gets dry, it will go down as the summer goes on. The last 2 summers have been really wet, so it's been high. Just be prepared. Yes, these are on the water. They're waterfront.
Yeah, and a lot of them, I mean, they might say, I know I talked to a lady that said mine had a slope, and now it doesn't. Well, it's the water level. Like that had changed. But I know that this cove that we're on here, I think sites like 51.
Yeah, probably 40. Let's see, we're 45. Probably 49 to 53, somewhere in there. 54.
Maybe even a little bit more. That little side, if you're looking at that map, they are all in like a no-wake cove because they do kind of buster. The other side of the cove is the day use area, and so there's no wake signs as you enter that cove, and so they all have nice sloped shorelines, which I think
is amazing.
Would be great. No matter what the water level is.
Yeah. This morning I was able to go over to site 51 and get a picture of it because the folks had just left. Awesome, nice gradual slope down. But
ours is a little bit of a step and then a nice long slope.
Yeah.
But the one next to us has more of a drop, and then all of these along that side are all nice beach almost slope. And so, especially if you got kids, if you had a boat, maybe you'd have to step up to it. Maybe you'd want one that's got more of a shoreline. But I think if you want, that water access for kids and kayaks and things like that, that would be a good choice for you.
And this park is very boat friendly. There's not a lot of big rock, no riprap along the shore. So you can, for the most part, get your boat right up close, tie it to a tree. I would probably anchor off, unless I had a pontoon boat, just a little bit off, because there are some small rocks and stuff I wouldn't want to scratch up.
And then there's a lot of there's a lot more traffic than say Lake Russell.
Yeah.
So you are, the waves are changing and doing. We actually saw a guy wakeboarding today, which was really
surfing.
Cool.
Wake surfing.
Right, sorry.
Yeah.
Wake surfing.
So somebody wake surfing.
And the kids were eager for them to come back by, because every time, after they got by, we could ride our big waves, and they thought that was a lot of fun. So there's a lot of different water traffic. There's people with jet skis and people pulling kids on big floats and things.
It's not quite as busy as Lake Murray at Drew Island.
It's huge.
But not as quiet as Lake Russell at Calhoun Falls. So it's kind of in between. There is a day use area here.
And it's really nice. Like, it's a big open space. It looks like almost all of that. And again, it's on the side with the no wake. And so almost all of that shoreline is a slope. So it was like grass, and then kind of that, it's red clay, but there's rock, like small rock, pebble shoreline. So you could wade right out very easily.
It's not a sandy. There's not a sandy beach like there is at Calhoun Falls.
No, it's like pebble, red rock, red
a
clay.
Very easy place to go out.
Don't wear your white bathing suit. It's red clay. Don't have your white towel.
There's a playground over there. Several picnic tables. Great bench or a rocking
swing. There's a swing.
Swing over there.
And that's all on a little point. There's several picnic shelters over that way too.
And there's a boat ramp over there. There is actually a boat ramp in the campground too that is exclusive to folks that are camping. I would probably use it if I was here in the campground.
But for day use, I mean, lots of, and the way it's staggered, like it's a picnic table with the grill and their little lakefront, and then there's a significant space and another one, kind of all around this whole little area with the playground kind of at the center of that.
Yeah.
So if you live in this area, a day trip kind of thing, that's a great place. Like it was beautiful. It was shaded. Even now, it's August. But it's cool.
It's comfortable. We got blessed. It was 100 degrees with 90% humidity 2 weeks ago, and the weather's been really nice. The storm kind of rolled by last night, but it missed us. We've been very fortunate with that.
We've got lots of shade, and that's the same with the day use area. There's lots of shade.
Kind of neat animals here. We saw some deer riding through yesterday. I couldn't get the camera out quick enough. They kind of came and went.
I think I got one shot of my iPhone, so we can drop it in.
But
they aren't that afraid. Like they were like just looking. Like when we stopped the car, I had felt like I made eye contact with him. He was just kind of like, "Hi, how are you?"
We actually saw a bald eagle today.
I said there's a pair.
Yeah, it looked like a pair staying in the island, actually kind of behind us. I don't think you can see it in this camera right now, but it looks like they're nested in that island. We saw it come down and catch a fish, grab a fish out of the water.
You could hear the big plunk.
So that's pretty neat.
The squirrels are a little aggressive, though.
Yes.
They they're not waiting till the night to come and steal your garbage. They're
very aggressive.
As soon as your back's turned, they're like, I'm gonna climb in there and see what's what.
Yeah, there's a lot of ants here. One of the things we've heard a lot of people talk about, so we put down some of the ant stuff around where the tires sit, and we haven't had an issue.
We hadn't had any in the camper. I mean, one was just crawling on me a second ago.
Yeah, but so all in all, that's really not bad. One thing that is a little bit of a problem that you need to know about is there's a lot of poison ivy here. I can't speak for the other sites, but on our peninsula, a lot of this greenery around us is poison ivy.
It's pretty, but it's poison ivy.
So don't go traipsing through the woods if you don't know what you're looking for. It looks like it's been here a long time, so just be careful of that.
And there are trails. And if you're a biker, there's bike trails that even connect to a 12-mile Stevens Creek trail. And then there's another just walking trail, and those are cleared. As we drove on, we could see how they look. They're clear. They're obviously well used. But just back up in the woods around your site to be careful.
One thing, kind of talking about the trail in the woods around, they are doing some logging here, just like a lot of the state parks. We talked to somebody at the store, and they said that it's largely trying to get ahead of the pine beetle issue.
Preventative ahead.
Trying to clear some of the pine trees out, especially in areas where the pine beetles are known to be a problem.
In some of the denser areas, they're not really doing it in the campsite areas. It was more of the woods in and out, where they're just dense. And so I think they're trying to clear that up a little bit and get ahead of those. So,
and then one other last little thing just to be aware of, there is a speedway across the highway. So on a Friday or Saturday night, you may hear some cars. It sounded last night like there was just one maybe practicing. It didn't sound like it didn't sound like it was a full-fledged race. I could be wrong. I don't know. Just know that that's there. It didn't bother us last night. It really wasn't that loud at all.
It didn't bother me, but it may bother some. And you never know. But it may be an adventure. You're looking for something to do on a Friday, Saturday night? See what the Modoc Speedway's doing.
It might be something worth checking out. Just want to make sure I put that in and let you know about it. As far as there's a general store when you first come in. That's where you check in. It's relatively small. Doesn't have a whole lot of supplies. So if you do need supplies, just down the road in Modoc, there's a really nice gas station and a Dollar General. The Dollar General is large and fairly new. Looked pretty well stocked when we were in there yesterday. I ran out of dish soap. So
and the gas station was super friendly and very helpful, so they would highly recommend. Really nice. And that looks locally owned, more local looking gas station. And then on the way in, we passed a Food Line, which it was 14 miles.
Food Line is in McCormick, so if you need full-fledged groceries, it's 14 miles. Head up north to McCormick. It's probably the closest. There's not any real grocery store in Modoc. So. Yeah. All in all, this is a really great campground. The lake is fantastic. We've enjoyed our time here.
Yeah. We have kayaked and swam and played, and the kids, it's paved 90%. So they've ridden their bikes a good bit. There's not been very high traffic, especially when you think about how big campsite was. There's been lots and lots of kids.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of fun.
We've had a lot of fun. I hope you get a chance to come check it out and enjoy it yourself. Thanks for watching.
It's like a detailed sticker, so it's hard to get straight on.